Next we'll be doing the pocket, the zipper slip pocket. So you will need your piece Q for lining pieces, your 6 or 7 inch zipper, 6 for small, 7 for large, a couple of scraps that are 1 by 1 1/4 inches, and you'll be ready to go. Now one thing is, these can end up being kind of, the thickness can get to be a lot for this pocket, even if you're using quilting cotton, if everything's interfaced. So I am actually using exterior fabric for 2 of these because I ran out of the lining fabric. So I'd recommend, this one's not interfaced, but for the cotton, trimming your interfacing away so that so that the side and bottom edges are not interfaced, and the interfacing only goes up to the edge on the top. So this is interfaced all the way in the top, and the interfacing is, if you can see with this gray and white, trimmed away on the side edges. Okay, so very first thing, you need to cut your zipper down to a little bit shorter. So this is, I need 6 inches for this zipper, so I'm going to mark 6 inches. And then I am going to mark 1/4 inch past that. If you're doing zipper tape, do the same thing. Figure out the end of your zipper so you have the correct length, and then 1/4 inch past that, and then the same over at this end, the other end. Sorry, my 3-year-old is being very 3 today. Wants to be involved in everything and be very loud. Okay, so I'm going to trim it off that 1/4 inch mark. Alright, I'm going to change to a zipper foot. And I'm going to sew, it's hard to tell because this is not very different on the right and the back, front and back, but I'm sewing my right side to the top of the zipper with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And the same thing on the other side, but for this side I will unzip the zipper and push these edges close together while I sew. Be very careful here because I don't want to sew over my finger. Okay. And now I'm going to increase my stitch length a little bit. I'm going to fold this up, fold this down to meet that edge, and then fold it down so that this end of the zipper is completely covered. Sorry, my brain has a hard time sewing, talking at the same time. Enclosed, that's the word I'm trying to think of. Okay, so on this side, we fold it up, turn it over, fold this raw edge to meet the raw edge of the zipper, fold this down. Okay. Say that you don't have any size 3 zippers. I should have mentioned this to you at the beginning. You can do the same thing, but your scrap of fabric will need to be a little wider. So generally size 5 zippers are about 1 1/4 inches wide, so your scrap would be 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. Okay, I'm going to leave this zipper just half unzipped. Take one of my lining sides, the one with the interfacing all the way to the edge. No piano right now. And I'm going to center my zipper on that. And now I'm going to baste this just about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And I generally move the zipper a lot while I am sewing to keep it out of the way as best as possible. Now I'm going to take the one that's going to go on the outside. If you're using all identical, if all 4 pieces are using the same fabric, it doesn't matter which is the outside and the inside. But for me, this needs to be on the outside, so it's going to go on the top. And I'm going to sandwich this like this. And not only are we going to be sewing this top edge, we're going to be sewing all the way around. And we'll start on the bottom. So I'm going to leave a turning opening on the bottom. We'll start on the bottom, sew around each side edge, sew around the top edge, other side, and then back to the bottom. And remember, we are using a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. And a zipper foot. To unzip this zipper and then zip it back. What are you doing? I hate sewing with my zipper foot when I'm not sewing next to a zipper. My machine does not like it. Okay. All right, and I'm going to trim just the corners. And then turn this right side out. Poke out the corners. You can press this, that would be good. So this bottom edge will stay raw for now. And we're gonna top stitch just across this. Okay, so now we're going to do the other half. So let's take one of these lining pieces and baste the other side on the top that has the interfacing all the way to the edge. Sorry, let me put this up where you can see. I'm gonna baste. Now when we are sewing all around, we're going to want this pocket piece to be out of the way. So I generally fold it up, kind of like that, and then put a little clip in place just to keep it out of the way. And then we're going to sew all around these sides just like we did before. close to being done. We just have to sew this onto the purse. So first we're going to roll in these bottom edges. And I'm going to clip everything together. And I'm going to unzip my zipper partway so that the bulk of that is not going to be in the way when we're sewing these edges down. Okay, you're going to want to match up all the corners and sides as best as possible. And I'm going to switch back to my normal foot and increase my stitch length a little bit because this is going to be a lot of layers, plus we're sewing through foam for this next step. Okay, so grab your lining and place it where you want. And start sewing up at the top. Make sure you forward stitch and then back stitch. We want this to be very secure. This is a little too many layers for me to pin it, so I'm just holding it in place and checking regularly to make sure I'm square with the bottom sides. Just like before, I'm going to roll up this side, put it over here. And up at this end, we'll make sure to forward stitch, back stitch, forward, and your lining is complete. And here's your zipper slip pocket. You can put things in the back, things inside. Lining is done.